The Daily Wrap with Michael Kastner. More illuminating, less agitating.
The Daily Wrap continues. Michael Kastner with you. The headline coming out of Washington yesterday was the chief U.S. spy, James Clapper, had said that Iran was ready to strike inside the United States. Well, joining us right now is Chris DeVito, Director of Outreach for Iran 180. It's a grassroots coalition demanding that Iran drop pursuit of nuclear weapons. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much.
This is, obviously, we had heard the report that Iran was involved in some sort of plot to assassinate or have assassinations inside the United States. Do you think that's the only thing going on, or do you think there's more for Clapper to be talking to this congressional panel to that extent?
I think it's fair to assume that there is more information that's not been divulged publicly that is the basis for General Clapper's remarks as it stands to Iran's increased willingness to possibly pursue a terrorist attack within the United States.
What is your group pushing for? What kind of pressure do you want to see on Iran? Because it seems that all we ever hear about is either appeasement or declaring war on them. But obviously, the other option is what this administration has been talking about and doing, and that is to put the financial screws to that regime.
So we're comfortable with the bipartisan effort that's currently been pursued by both Republicans and Democrats in Washington. I think today there was a release by the Bipartisan Policy Center of a set of recommendations that is being currently followed, for the most part, by the U.S. administration. We also support strongly the involvement of our European allies and countries all over the world whose interests would be well served by Iran giving up its nuclear ambitions.
How do you deal with a country like this as opposed to any other country? I mean, basically, when you've got a country that historically, I mean, obviously, since the Shah was deposed, hates the United States, hates everything about us. And you've also got, we have to take into account, two aspects. You have the civilian, Ahmadinejad, but then you also have the religious side that really seems to be controlling things in that country.
Well, the complexity of Iran's political system, I think, is one of the reasons that pursuing effective diplomacy is challenging. Iran has proven to be a particularly and almost uniquely volatile actor in the international sphere since the Islamic Revolution in 1979. Numerous outreach efforts by different administrations have been spurned, and we're only seeing a situation in which more radical elements are becoming more thoroughly entrenched within the Iranian power structure. So that's certainly of concern.
We're talking with Chris DeVito, Director of Outreach for Iran 180. It's a grassroots coalition demanding Iran drop pursuit of nuclear weapons. You know, when it comes to, I mentioned the terminology of, putting the screws to Iran financially, it's not just Iran, really, because you have other countries that will back Iran if we decide to give them trouble, with their bank accounts and things like that, or cutting off their ability to export oil. There are other countries that will step in and help them out. So it really is also up to us to put pressure on other countries that may step in and fill that void.
Certainly, and I think that that's been something that we've been doing on a regular basis. I mean, U.S. diplomats and trade representatives have been touring East Asia for the past several weeks in an effort to get some of our allies and some countries that we don't work with as closely to halt their import of Iranian petroleum products. But part of the genius of the current sanctions regime that's being imposed by both the United States and by the European Union is that even in the absence of cooperation from other international actors, Iran is going to be forced to sell its petroleum at a discount. So even if we don't get the type of cooperation that we want from, say, the Chinese, the South Koreans, the Japanese, or the Indians, Iran is still going to be materially damaged by their refusal to step back from their current nuclear program.
Chris DeVito, Director of Outreach for Iran 180. You can get more information at their website. It is Iran180.com. Chris, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you very much.